the average weight of A, B, C is 84 kg. Right? Average weight of A, B, C is 84 kg. So can we say A plus B plus C is equal to 84 into 3? Because see, the average is 84. Sum will be average into the number of values. Right? Sum of the observations is equal to the average into number of observations. Observations here is nothing but number of persons. So A plus B plus C will be 84 into 3, which is 252. Right? Now look at this next point. A fourth man D joins them. Joins them means what? Joins this group of ABC, and the average weight of these 4 becomes 80 kg. Now average weight of 4 persons is 80 kg. Average weight of 4 persons is 80 kg means the sum of the weights of these 4 persons will be 80 into 4. So we can say A plus B plus C plus D is equal to 80 into 4. 80 into 4 is how much? 320. Now from these two, can you find out the difference and get the weight of D? See, if you subtract A plus B plus C from A plus B plus C plus D, you will get to know what is the weight of D. So how much will be the weight of D? 320 minus 252, right? 320 minus 252. 320 minus 252. How much is this? 320 minus 252 is 70 minus 2, which is 68. So we know that the weight of D is 68 kgs. Now look at the next point. If E, whose weight is 3 kg more than D, E is 3 kg more than D. So can we say E is equal to, D plus 3, right? So it will be 68 plus 3, 71. Cut down the number of steps. See, you don't have to write all these independent steps here, individual steps. Cut down the number of steps that you put on paper. So the weight of E is 3 kgs more than D. So 68 plus 3, 71 kgs. So if E, whose weight is 71 kgs, replaces A, what is E doing? E is replacing A. If E replaces A, then the average weight of B, C, D, E becomes 79 kg. Average weight of B, C, D, E, B plus C plus D plus E again. The average is given as 79. So what will be the total? 79 times 4. 79 times 4. How much is this? 84 is 320 minus 4, 316. What is the weight of A in kg? We have to find out the weight of A. So if you see, there are a number of equations that we have. A plus B plus C, A plus B plus C plus D, B plus C plus D plus E. We have to find out the weight of A. What is the weight of A? How can you get the weight of A? How do you get the weight of A from this one? See, we already know the weight of E. E is 71 kgs. So can you substitute E is equal to 71 in this place? Yes. Substitute that, what happens? If you substitute E equals to 71, you will get what is B plus C plus D. So we will get B plus C plus D is equal to 316 minus 71. How much is 316 minus 71? See, 316, it's like 300 minus 70 is 230. 16 minus 1 is 15. 230 plus 15 is 245. So the sum of the weights of BCD is 245. Now substitute this BCD in this place. 245, substitute here. So what happens? A plus 245 is 320. A plus 245 is 320. A plus 245 is equal to 320. Then what is A from this one? 320 minus 245. So 55 plus 20, 75 kgs. Right? Option 2, 75 kg is the correct answer. In Vidya school, the sum of all ages of all the 29 people, that is the head, teacher and students, is 696. If the age of each head, each teacher and each student be 1 year, 5 years and 3 years more, then the average age of the whole staff would have been 3 years more. If the number of teachers is the square root of a 2-digit number, which is also a perfect cube, then the number of students in the school are. Alright. So basically there's a school where the sum of the ages of all the 29 people, there are 29 people, which includes heads, teachers and students, is 696. The sum, total age of all these people is 696. This is the age of each headmaster, let's say, right? Head is any headmaster. Each head, each teacher and each student be 1 year, 5 years and 3 years more, then the average of the whole staff would have been 3 years more. The average would have been 3 years more. Okay. If the number of teachers is the square root of a 2-digit number, if the number of teachers is the square root of a 2-digit number, which is also a perfect cube, then the number of students in the school are. Alright, so let us assume that the number of teachers, number of heads and number of students are T, H, S respectively. Number of heads are H, number of teachers are T and number of students are S. These are the 3 values, let's assume, right? So according to the question, there are 29 people. So can we say H plus T plus S equals to 29? Yes. Total is 29. Now understand, the question says that the number, look at the last part first. Number of teachers is the square root of a 2-digit number. square root of a 2-digit number, which is also a perfect cube. I think the only value that is satisfying these conditions is 8, right? See, look at the 2-digit numbers, right? Look at the 2-digit, square root of 2-digit numbers, right? What are the perfect squares which are 2-digit numbers? 16, starting from 16, right? You cannot consider 1, 4, 9. Those are single digit numbers. 2-digit numbers which are squares are 16, 25, 36, 49, 64, 81, right? Now square root of 16 is 4, square root of 25 is 5, 6, 7, 8 and 9. So he says the number of teachers is a square root of a 2-digit number. So square root of 2-digit numbers are 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, which is also a perfect cube. Now is 4 a perfect cube? No. Is 5 a perfect cube? No. Is 6 a perfect cube? No. Is 7 a perfect cube? No. Is 8 a perfect cube? Yes, 8 is a perfect cube. Is 9 a perfect cube? No. So I think the number of teachers is 8. You look at it. The number of teachers is a square root of a 2-digit number. Square root of 2-digit number 64 is 8, which is also a perfect cube. 8 is also a perfect cube. So from this we know that the number of teachers is 8. T is equal to 8. Number of teachers is 8. So what will be H plus S? H plus S will be equal to 29 minus 8, which is 21. That's one equation. That number of heads plus number of students is 21. Right? Number of heads plus number of students is 21. Now understand, he says if each head, each teacher and each student's ages are increased by 1 year, 5 years and 3 years, then the average of the whole staff here would increase by 3 years. See, there are total 29 people. In my view, this value 696 is not needed at all. He says the average increases by how many years? 3 years. The average would increase by 3 years. For how many people? 29 people. Yes or no? If each person's age increases by 3 years, the total increment will be how much? The total increase will be equal to how much? Average increases by 3 years. For how many people? 29 people. So can I say total increment is 87 years? Yes. Total increment is 87 years. Are you able to follow? The total increment in the value has happened. That has happened is 87 years. Why has this happened? Because each head's age increased by 1 year. Each teacher's age increased by 5 years. Each student's age increased by 3 years. So the total increment that came up was 87. How do we know this? Average, he says, increased by 3 years for 29 people. So 3 into 29 is 87. Now we have to balance this 87. Total increment. Understand, increment in teachers. What will be the increment in teachers? Teachers increment. It's not the correct terminology, but teachers increment means increment in the ages of teachers. There are total how many teachers? 8 teachers. 8 teachers. And we know that each teacher's age increased by 5 years. So total increment will be how much? 5 years into 8, which is 40. Total increment will be what? 40. Right? Total increment in the age of teachers is 40 years. Which implies increment in heads plus students is equal to what? 87 minus 40, 47. Are you able to follow? Total increment is 87. Age of teachers increment is 40. So obviously for remaining people, heads and students, the increment is 47. How many heads are there? H heads. And you know that each head's age increases by 1 year. So 1 into H plus how many students are there? S students. And you know that each student's age increased by 3 years. So 3 into S equals to 47. You're able to follow? This is equal to 47. So basically we know that H plus 3S equals to 47. This is one equation. H plus S equals to 21. That's the other equation. 2 equations, 2 unknowns. Can you solve? Yes. Subtract, what happens? Subtract the 2. This is equation number 1. This is equation number 2. So H plus 3S minus of H minus S. So H and H gets cancelled. 3S minus S. 2S. 2S equals to 47 minus 21. 26. 2S is 26. S is equals to 13. 13. Yes, number of students. So by solving 1 and 2, you will get S is equal to 13. The number of students are 13. Option 4. A set of consecutive positive integers beginning with 1 is written on blackboard. A student came along and erased one number. The average of the remaining numbers is 35, 7 by 17. what was the number erased? So basically a set of consecutive positive integers beginning with 1 is written on blackboard. So consecutive positive integers beginning with 1 would be what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, so on up to some number are written on blackboard, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 and up to some value n are written on blackboard. Now what happened? A student came along and erased one number. Now one student comes along and he has erased one of these numbers. Which number we don't know. It could be any of these numbers from 1 to n, right? He has erased one number. The average of the remaining numbers is 35 7 by 17. The average of the remaining numbers is 35 7 by 17. What was the number erased is the question. The average of remaining numbers is 35 7 by 17. What is the number erased? Now this question has gotten even more complex because options are not there. Maybe if options are there, we can just do something with the options and maybe go for elimination or substitution. But anyway, let's try and solve it. So what do you understand from this? Some n numbers written on the board. All these n are consecutive numbers starting with 1, consecutive positive integers starting with 1, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4, so on up to n. One of these numbers is erased and the average of remaining numbers is 35 7 by 17. What was the number erased is the question. What is the number erased is the question. Now look at the average of remaining numbers. The average of remaining numbers. The average of remaining numbers is equal to 35 7 by 17. Try to solve this 35 7 by 17. What happens? 35 into 17. How much will that be? 700 minus 105. So it's like 595. 595 plus 7, 602. I'm trying to convert this to an improper fraction, right? 602 by 17. So average of remaining numbers is 602 by 17. Now you know what an average is, right? Average is equal to sum of all the values by number of values. Average is equal to sum of all the values by number of values. So maybe sum of all the values is 602, number of values is 17. 602, 17, right? Sum of all the values is 602 and the number of values is 17. You're getting it? 602 by, you're able to follow? 602 by 17. I mean, just converting that fraction there. 35 7 by 17 can be taken as 602 by 17. Now, this is the average when one of the numbers has been removed. Right? Now, understand that, I mean, if you just try to consider 602 by 17 as, I mean, if you try to equate it as sum of the values divided by number of values. I mean, this is more of theoretical than, some calculation here. So you got to understand very clearly what I'm saying. We are equating sum of the values to 602 and number of values to 17. Right? Understand, this is average of remaining numbers. Remaining numbers are 17 according to 602 by 17. See, this is not the ideal case. I mean, this is one of the possibilities that it could be 602 by 17. But if you think of it, the remaining numbers are 17. The remaining numbers are 17. That means originally there were 18 numbers. Right? What do you mean by remaining? One number was erased, right? One of the numbers was erased. A student came along and erased one of the numbers. So if the remaining numbers are 17, that means originally there were 18 numbers. And what will be the sum of first 18 numbers? What is the sum of first 18? What is the number of, you know the sum, right? You know the concept of sum. Sum of first n consecutive numbers. I mean, this is just for your information, right? How do we calculate the sum of first n consecutive numbers? N into n plus 1 by 2. N into n plus 1 by 2. Just remember this point. N into n plus 1 by 2. N into n plus 1 by 2. So, if I assume that it was 602 by 17, there were 17 numbers remaining. That means originally there were 18 numbers. Find out the sum of first and 18 numbers. 18 into 19 by 2. Will 18 into 19 by 2 anyway be close to 602? You are able to follow. Are you able to follow? Or even if you take, let's say, 17 numbers, if you assume that there were 17 numbers, what is the sum of first 17 numbers? 17 into 18 by 2. Will 17 into 18 by 2 be close to 602? See, the point that I'm trying to make is, if you observe, we have converted this fraction 35 7 by 17 to this form, 602 by 17. Now there are various possibilities. It can be taken as 602 by 17. This 602 by 17 can also be taken as, like, let's say multiply both numerator and denominator by 2. Multiply both numerator and denominator by 2. So 602 becomes 1204. Denominator 17 becomes 34. Even that will give you 35/7 by 17. 602 by 17 is 35/7 by 17. 1204 by 34 is also same 35/7 by 17. Or multiply both numerator and denominator by 3. 602 into 3, it will be 1806. Divide by 17 into 3, 51. Or multiply both numerator and denominator by 4. 602 into 4 will be 2408. Divide 17 into 4 is 68. Multiply both numerator and denominator by 5. 602 by 5 into 5 will be 3010. 17 into 5 will be 85, and so on. You're able to follow. And we have to, the only number that is given to us in the question is this one, 35/7 by 17. So we have to do something with that only. So I'm trying to look at all the possible ways in which 35/7 by 17 can be obtained. See, why are we taking 6 0? Why are we multiplying numerator and denominators by 2? Because for me, the denominator is very important here. The denominator 17 tells me that there are 17 numbers remaining. But if I consider 17 numbers to be remaining, originally there were 18 numbers. What is the sum of first 18 numbers? It will be 18 into 19 by 2. 18 into 19 by 2 is nowhere close to, or if you take 17 numbers, 17 into 18 by 2 is nowhere close to 602. So I can discard 602 by 17 now. You understand? This is like a ratio. When we are saying 602 by 17, we are saying number of values by, sum of the values by number of values. That ratio is 602 by 17. I mean, numerator by denominator is nothing but a ratio, right? This is a very, very important point. We are actually talking about a ratio here. Don't consider it as a division. This refers to a ratio. You getting it? So basically what we are trying to say here is that sum is to the number of values. Sum is to the number of values is equal to 602 is to 17. So what are the possibilities? 602, 17. You can multiply both of them by 2. So it will become 1204 by 34, 1806 by 51, 2408 is to 68, 3010 is to 85, and so on. You getting it? Now check for the second one, 34. If the remaining numbers are 34, right? I mean, remaining numbers are 34 means originally there were 35 numbers. If remaining numbers are 34, originally there were 35 numbers. What is the average of 35 numbers? See, like sum of first and consecutive numbers is n into n plus 1 by 2. Do you know the average of first and consecutive numbers? I think better than sum we work on average. Average of first n consecutive numbers. What is the average of first n consecutive numbers? Anyone? Average is equal to sum by the number of values, right? So average of first n consecutive numbers will be sum n into n plus 1 by 2 divided by the number of values, which is n. So n and n gets cancelled, we'll get n plus 1 by 2. N plus 1 by 2. So this again is an important point. I mean, assuming that you will know all these things. Average of first and consecutive numbers, average of sum of first and consecutive numbers is n into n plus 1 by 2. Average of first and consecutive numbers is n plus 1 by 2. So the point that I'm trying to make is, if you take the second ratio 1204 by 34, we are saying that remaining numbers were 34. If remaining numbers were 34, originally there were how many numbers? Originally there were 35 numbers. If remaining numbers are 34, originally there were 35 numbers. What will be the average of 35 numbers? First 35 numbers? You're getting it? Just go by this point now. Forget about sum. I think let's not worry about sum. Let's look at average. This is a better way of checking it. According to this ratio, remaining numbers were 34. If remaining numbers are 34, originally there were 35 numbers. What is the average of 35 numbers? 35 plus 1 by 2, 18. Yes or no? 35 plus 1, 36, 36 by 2, 18. Average of all the numbers is 18. You're getting it? 34 are remaining numbers. That means originally there were 35 numbers. One of the numbers got removed. One of the numbers got erased. So originally there were 35 numbers. And the average of first 35 numbers is how much? It is 18. 35 plus 1 by 2 is 36 by 2, 18. If the average of all the numbers is 18, can the average of remaining numbers be 35? Impossible. It's not possible. So this also gets eliminated. Similarly, if you consider the remaining numbers to be 52, originally there were 50. If you consider the remaining numbers to be 51, what is the total number of numbers? 52. All the numbers were 52. One of the numbers got erased. So 51 numbers are remaining. If remaining are 51, totally there were 52. What is the average of 52 numbers? Average of 52 numbers will be 52 plus 1 by 2. 52 plus 1 by 2 is 53 by 2. 53 by 2 is how much? 26.5. If average of all the numbers is 26.5, can the average of remaining numbers be 35/7 by 17? No. See, after removing one value, average should reduce, right? How can the average? You're getting it? I mean, reduce as in it can increase also depending on what value has been removed. But if you try to work for 51 numbers also, will you come close to 35? What is the average of first 51 numbers? What is the average of first 15 numbers? 51 by 2, 52 by 2. 52 by 2 is how much? 26. But the average here is given as 35. So it's not possible. This also gets eliminated. You're able to follow. You're able to follow. Look at 68. 68. Consider 68. Remaining are 68 numbers. Remaining are 68 numbers. That means originally there were 69 numbers. What is the average of 69 numbers? 69 plus 1, 70 by 2. 70 by 2. 70 by 2 is 35. We are coming close to this value, right? See, out of 69 numbers, one of the numbers got removed. And because of that, average became 35, 7 by 17. Because of that, average became 35, 7 by 17. So this looks closer. This looks closer to the given value here, right? The first three were not close to what is given there. So if you go by this ratio, if you assume that there were 68 numbers, I mean 240, I mean I can say that 35 7 by 17. See, for the these are not first 68 numbers. Understand, when I say 68 numbers, 35 7 by 17 is definitely equals to 2408 by 68. From that only we have got, right? 35 7 by 17 is 2408 by 68. Yes or no? You are able to follow. 35 7 by 17 is equals to 2408 by 68. That's what we have done. That way 35 7 by 17 is 1806 by 51 also. 1204 by 34 also. But the problem is, if I consider remaining numbers to be 51, total numbers are 52 and average of 52 numbers is 26.5. Just by removing one of the numbers, the average will not come anywhere close to 35. But when I come to this, I am very close. See, remaining numbers are 68, which means totally there are 69 numbers. Average of 69 numbers is how much? 69 plus 1 by 2. If remaining numbers are 68, totally there were 69 numbers. Average of 69 numbers is what? 69 plus 1, 70 by 2, 35. And here we have got 35 7 by 17. So we are close. We are close to 35. So maybe from those first 69 numbers, we have removed one of the numbers, smaller numbers, because of which the average has increased. It has become 35 7 by 17. Instead of 35, it has become 35 7 by 17. So it looks like we are close to this. We are close to this. You're getting it? Now you can do a quick verification. You can do again 85. If you go, you will know that 85 will not be the value, because if you consider remaining numbers to be 85, totally there were 86 numbers. Average of 86 numbers is how much? 86 plus 1, 87 by 2. 87 by 2 is how much? 43.5. And this is like too far from 43.5, right? Just by removing one of the numbers, will the average change by so much? No. So this also will be out of range. So the only number that seems to be in range is 68. So we can now consider that this 35 7 by 17 which is given to us is actually 2408 by 68. 35 7 by 17 can be taken as 602 by 17, can be taken as 1204 by 34, can be taken as 1806 by 51, can be taken as 2408 by 68, can be taken as 3010 by 85, and there are infinite ways. But the closest is this, 2408 by 68. If I assume this to be correct, then what happens? If we consider this to be the case, then what happens? We know that originally there were 69 numbers. Right? So we can jump to a conclusion that, I mean, I don't have space here, but we can now say that in the original case, we had 69 numbers. We had 69 numbers. Right? In the original case, we had 69 numbers. Now, the question here is, what number was erased? What number was erased? What number was erased? See, we know that the sum of first 69 numbers, sum of these 69 numbers. What will be the sum of these 69 numbers? 69 into 70 by 2. 69 into 70 by 2. Find out what is 69 into 70 by 2. 69 into 70 by 2 will be 69 into 35. How much is 69 into 35? That's like 35 squared, right? 1225 into 2, which is 2450. 2450 minus 35, 2415, it becomes 2415, right? 16 into 35 comes out to be 2415. 2415. That's it. So now I've got the answer. I can say that, let me highlight two numbers to all of you. Let me highlight two numbers here. One number is this 2415. Sorry. And the other number is this 2408. You getting it? So what I have found that in the original case, there were 69 numbers. The sum of first 69 numbers will come out to be 2415. But after removing one of the numbers from this 2415, I mean after erasing one of the 69 numbers, the sum comes down to 2408. So what number was erased? The number erased will be equal to what? It will be equal to this 2415 minus 2408, which is equal to 7. Hence 7 will be your answer. Hence 7 is going to be your answer. I know this is a little complex to understand. Maybe some of you have not been able to follow it, but I request you all to just go through the explanation once again. I mean, watch the same video once again and you should be able to follow it, right? Let me quickly revise or explain what exactly have we done here, right? If you have understood the question, he says there is a set of positive integers, consecutive positive integers starting from 1. So let's say 1 to n are the numbers. Now one of the students or one of these n numbers was erased. One of these n numbers was removed, and then the average becomes 35/7 by 17. One of these n numbers was removed, and so the average becomes 35/7 by 17. You have to find out which number was erased. First and foremost, what have we done? 35/7 by 17, if you express in terms of numerator by denominator, comes out to be 602 by 17. And since 602 by 17 is an average, I can say 602 by 17 is like sum of the values by number of values. So basically, if I kind of look at it in the terms of ratio, I am trying to say that sum of the values is to the number of values is in the ratio of 602:17. Sum of the values, sum of all the values, sum of basically the remaining values. Sum of the remaining values is to the number of remaining values should be in the ratio of 602 by 17. So we'll get multiple cases, right? I mean, there are infinite cases that way. 602 by 17, 1204 by 34, 1806 by 51, 2408 by 2408 by 2068, and so on. My point here is, if we consider 602 by 17 to be correct, we are trying to say that the remaining numbers are 17. If the remaining numbers are 17, total numbers are 18 because only one number was erased. Total numbers are 18, right? Total number is 18. What is the average of first 18 numbers? The average of first 18 numbers is 18 plus 1 by 2. 18 plus 1 by 2 is 19 by 2, which is 9.5. Now from the first 18 numbers, just think of it. From the first 18 numbers, you have erased one of the numbers. The average of first 18 numbers is 19.5. For the average of first 18 numbers is 9.5. After erasing one of these 18 numbers, can the average become 35? Impossible. Because even if you remove the maximum number, the highest number, you will remove 18. Or even if you remove 1 from that, what happens? What happens? The sum will reduce only by 1. The sum will reduce only by 1. And the denominator is reduced by 1. But can that average become 35/7 by 17? No. You're able to follow. The sum of first 18 numbers is how much? Sum of first 18 numbers will be 18 into 19 by 2, which is like 19 into 9. 19 into 9 is like 171. From that sum of 171, even if you remove just 1, what happens? It becomes 170. 170 by, instead of 18 numbers, you have to take 17 numbers. So 170 by 17 will come out to be 10. Average should be 10, but the given average is 35. Hence, it is not possible. This is ruled out. Same verification we do for remaining ratios. 1204 by 34. What happens? We are saying remaining numbers are 34. Originally, there were 35 numbers. The sum of 35 numbers is 35 into 36 by 2. The sum of 34 numbers is 1204. But then when you try to compare with the average, you will find that no, it's nowhere close to the average. Because average of 35 numbers is going to be 18. Here, by erasing one of the numbers, the average is getting doubled. Is it possible? Not possible. So this is eliminated. Similarly, here 51 numbers, which means total numbers there were 52. You getting it? If there are 51 numbers remaining, totally there were 52 numbers. The average of 52 numbers will be somewhere close to 26.5. I mean, it will be 26.5. By removing one of these 56 numbers, you are saying that the average becomes 35. Will the average increase by 10? Will it increase by 10? No. Average is increasing by 10, meaning what? The 51 numbers are increasing by 10. The total should increase by 510. Is it possible? Not possible. Eliminated. Only when you come close to 2408, you find that yes, you're close to the real this thing. You're able to follow. Because if there are remaining 68 numbers, totally there are 69 numbers. For 69 numbers, the average is 35. For 68 numbers, he says the average is 35/7 by 17. Which means for 68 numbers, the total is given as 2408. For 68 numbers, we have found that total is 2408. Only then this average will be obtained, right? And for 69 numbers, the total is 2415. So 2415 minus 2408. 7 is the number that has been removed. 7 is the number that has been removed. You're able to follow. So 7 will be your answer. And one general point that all of you have to remember is, see, look at the average. Average here is, I mean, you should understand that we very well know that for consecutive numbers, whether they are consecutive natural numbers or consecutive odd numbers or consecutive even numbers, average is always the middle number. Average is always the middle number. So for the moment, for a few seconds, let us assume that no number has been erased. For a few seconds, let us assume that we have actually not erased any number. And the average is 35/7 by 17. Without erasing any number, the average is 35/7 by 17. Without erasing any number, the average is 35/7 by 17. And these are all consecutive numbers. So basically you are saying that the middle of the consecutive numbers is 35. For consecutive numbers, average is always the middle number. This is a basic point that we know from our video of averages. For the moment, let us assume no number has been erased. So we are saying average of some consecutive numbers is 35/7 by 17, approximately 35. Which means we are talking about the middle number being 35. For what range will the middle number be 35? Only when the numbers are 69. Only when there are 69 numbers. So that way, if you want, you can directly start with 69 numbers. You don't even have to verify all this. Because the middle number is close to 35, I can assume that there were 69 numbers totally. Because only when, I mean, for the first 69 numbers, the average is 35. So there were 69 numbers totally. The sum of all the first 69 numbers is 2415. Sum of 68 numbers according to this 35/7 by 17 calculation is 2408. The difference is 7. Hence the number that got erased is 7. Right? So the answer is 7, and I hope all of you have followed it.